For months, I'd been trapped in a cycle of endless pleading, begging my wife for affection, for respect, for even a sliver of her time. Every day felt like walking on eggshells, waiting for her approval, craving her attention, and always coming up short. No matter what I did, it was never enough. If I worked late, she accused me of not caring. If I came home early, she claimed I wasn't ambitious. I tried cooking for her, surprising her with small gifts, taking her out, but she dismissed it all as if it meant nothing. I reached a point where I barely recognized myself. I wasn't the confident man I used to be. I was drained, exhausted, desperate. Every argument ended with me apologizing, even when I hadn't done anything wrong, just to keep the peace. I told myself that was love, sacrificing myself to make her happy, but in truth, I'd become her shadow, existing only to serve her moods. That morning, something inside me snapped. She asked me to iron her clothes before work. Normally, I would have jumped up immediately, hoping for even a small smile. But this time, I just looked at her and said nothing. I sat down, sipped my tea, and scrolled through my phone. For the first time in years, I ignored her request. She noticed instantly. "Did you hear me?" she asked sharply. I nodded but stayed still. Her eyes widened in disbelief. She wasn't used to this version of me, the man who no longer rushed to please her. She left the shirt crumpled on the bed and stormed to the bathroom, slamming the door behind her. I just drank my tea in silence. Later, she asked me to run an errand for her mother. Normally, I would have gone without hesitation to avoid conflict, but this time I said calmly, "I'm busy today. You can handle it." The look on her face was priceless. Part confusion, part anger, part fear. For the first time, she realized I wasn't her servant. Throughout the day, she tested me with small requests. Bring me water, fix my charger, call the plumber. Each time I shook my head or replied, "Not now." My refusal wasn't loud or disrespectful. It was quiet, controlled, firm. That silence carried more weight than any argument I'd ever had. By evening, the energy in the house had shifted. She paced, uncomfortable, throwing glances at me as if trying to figure out what had changed. Finally, she asked, "What's wrong with you today?" For once, I didn't beg or explain. I looked her in the eye and said, "I'm tired of being the only one who tries in this marriage." Her mouth opened as if to argue, but no words came. She wasn't expecting me to stand my ground. She was used to my begging for attention, forgiveness, love. But today, I gave her nothing. No explanations, no pleading, no desperate attempts to make her feel better. The silence grew heavy. She tried breaking it with the TV, fiddling with her phone, pretending not to care, but her body language betrayed her unease. She wasn't used to being ignored, wasn't used to me putting myself first. When dinner came, she asked if I was going to cook. I told her I had already eaten outside. Her face fell. For years, I had ensured she always had a hot meal waiting. But tonight, I didn't lift a finger. She ended up making something herself, slamming pans around the kitchen, her panic clear in her movements. That night, as we got into bed, she finally spoke softly. "You've been distant today. Are you upset with me?" I turned to her calmly. "I'm not upset. I'm done begging. I'm done living like I'm the only one trying." She stared at me as if she were seeing a stranger. She tried to defend herself, claiming she never asked me to beg, that I was overreacting. But I reminded her of every time she dismissed my efforts, took my kindness for granted, made me feel small. The truth was written across her face. She knew I wasn't lying. For once, she didn't have the upper hand. I didn't raise my voice, didn't cry, didn't plead. I simply stated the truth and let the silence linger. And in that silence, she finally realized she might lose me if things didn't change. Pretending to sleep, she turned away while I lay awake feeling strangely free. For the first time in years, I wasn't weighed down by the need for her approval. I had reclaimed a piece of myself, and it felt powerful. I don't know what tomorrow will bring. Maybe she'll change, maybe she won't. But one thing is certain, I will never go back to begging. Today she noticed, and tomorrow she will understand. The next morning, I left early without saying much. I ignored her calls all day. When I returned, I calmly handed her an envelope. Inside were papers, my decision to separate. Her hands trembled as she read, eyes wide with shock and fear. She tried to protest, to beg me to talk, but this time I remained silent. The man who once begged for her love was gone forever. I packed my things slowly while she watched, unable to stop me. "You'll regret this," she whispered. I only smiled. "No," I said. "I've already regretted staying too long." As I walked out, I felt lighter than I had in years. For the first time, I wasn't begging. I was free.